On the morning show, let's have a little chit chat for a minute. This is a little awkward. This is gonna tick a lot of people off.
A $79 cruise. That opens the cruise line up to a lot of people who normally wouldn't have access to a cruise.
And so a lot of cruise lines are banning rap music.
Yeah.
They're banning the wobble. They're banning boots on the ground. You can't even bring a fan on board now. And it is. I don't know why everybody's scared to have a conversation.
I mean, it's uncomfortable because it's. I don't think it's a black thing. I think it's a black culture thing. And we've had this conversation before where we talk about it's certain elements within our culture. We got to be honest about that.
There's certain elements in every culture, but go ahead.
It's certain elements in every culture, right? But 100 or 1,000 black people of a certain economic level, you're going to have a different group of people than.
So what's been happening was fights on the ship. a lot of fights, a lot of
people
stuff.
just being out of control.
Disruption.
Disruption. People who don't know how to. What's the word I'm looking for? A certain level of decorum,
Right.
that comes with
Coof.
and couth. Like if you were to go to a Delta Sky Lounge, a lot of people have been to Delta Sky Lounge.
Chill.
If you drop that price to $29 for Delta Sky Lounge, within a month, that's going to be a whole different experience in the Delta Sky Lounge.
Yes, sir.
Let's just admit it. Let's be honest about it.
Come on.
Within a month, it's going to be a whole different experience at the Atlanta airport, at the Miami airport, at the Detroit airport. It's going to be a whole different situation.
And I don't look down on nobody, but
No, we're not.
Reverend Jesse Jackson said something during the Democratic National Convention in '88 that stuck with me. He said, just because you're from the projects, don't mean that the projects have to live in you.
Come on.
Just because you live in the projects, that don't mean that the projects got to live in you. And we lived in the projects.
Right.
But you wouldn't have knew we lived in the project. As a matter of fact, when I would go to UAB parties and I didn't have a card, that's University of Alabama, Birmingham, campus would have a party, we would always go. And there was times I needed to ride home because I didn't have a car.
Right.
And I would get dropped off and everybody in the car was shocked. Like, you live here? Yeah. You don't act like it. You don't seem like it. You don't look like it. You don't talk like it. And you just a whole different, like, they didn't roast me or nothing. But they was like, wow, for you to be living right here, you really don't, because I dressed nice. My stuff was neat. My clothes was ironed. I had a little cologne on. But there's one guy, and people are getting tired, whatever, and I think I know we are, but a lot of people are getting tired. We have that one clip. Yeah, listen to this.
They sick of y'all. And before y'all get on here talking about they racist, they hate black people. No, they hate. That's what they hate. I hate them too. Y'all don't know how to handle yourselves. Y'all get on here, get drunk, get to fighting, being disruptive, disturbing all the other passengers. Like, y'all act like y'all have no home training. Like, everywhere don't have to be a party. Some people pay for this just to simply relax. I'm with all the rules. Ban all the
I'm going to say this and I'm going to get the up out of here. So I know I'm finna a lot of off with this one. I pay for my son to go to school so I won't have to deal with you garbage ass. I pay extra taxes to live in the neighborhood because I don't want to deal with you ignorant who don't want to cut their grass. I don't want to deal with the got broke down cars in their yard. I don't want to deal with the get their trash can out the middle of the street. I pay so I can live that way.
Come on. Yes. She said what I've been thinking a long time. You know how you've been thinking that, but you can't say it?
No, you can't.
I've really been feeling that, but you got to watch. Can we post the whole video, Beyonce? We got to post that whole video. This girl said what I've been feeling for years.
Man, can we squash this thing called keeping it real? Like that hood mentality, like you ain't real, you ain't like, come on, man. I think that's part of the mindset.
Right. So we got to talk more about it, and I want to get your comments and your phone calls about this. Hit us up at 866-9-RICKY, 866-9-RICKEY. Do we be doing too much on these cruise ships and airports? Are we dealing with black fatigue? Hit us up, 866-9-RICKY, Rickey Smiley Morning.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari.
So, and hello guys, I'm back. Lions Den is back in the U.S. And again, we have to talk about this. And before I even start talking about this, again, I want to thank Rickey Smiley on his YouTube channel. I'm glad you brought that statement up. Pink Book Lessons, a fellow YouTuber, she was talking about that same thing that Rickey Smiley is talking about. So we have to go through this again, right? Okay. So I know Rickey Smiley's been talking about it. I know Steve Harvey and D.L. Hughes probably following suit, talking about what's going on with the black culture on Carnival Cruises. And here's how I feel about this. It is already dividing the black community. It is. And I'm going to tell you why it's dividing it. Because now you got these other people, and some people call these uppity Negroes, saying, well, I'm not like them. I'm not like these black people that have been ratcheting this and then been fighting. And then I don't understand why they do that in the first place. And again, guys, I understand that we need to held ourselves accountable for what we do on any cruise ships or any other establishments. I understand that, okay? I get it, right? But what I don't get is when you have people like a Steve Harvey or a D.L. Hughley or Rickey Smiley or other or uppity people, let's just keep it real, who has college graduates, who's looking down on a fellow black person who don't have those things, who don't have degrees, who don't have that. And I'm telling you, this is why I said it is dividing the black community with this Carnival Cruise situation. Because now they're going to look at this and say, oh, and you see other comments on TikTok already putting other black people down. Like they don't have no home training, blah, blah, blah. Yes, when you go on cruise ships, you're going to have alcohol. They're going to have alcohol packages, drink packages. That's what they do. And people going to get ratchet regardless. And people, when they try to ban hip-hop, when they trying to ban boots on the ground, when they're trying ban wobble wobble, or even if they won't even allow us bringing, speakers on Carnival now, it is target a certain group of people. But basically, they're about, well, let's stop keeping it real. Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. We were together, right, when Trayvon Martin was deleted. We were together when Mike Brown was deleted unjustly. We were together when Laquan McDonald, Sandra Bland, Elton Sterling, Eric Garner, Fernando Castillo. We were all together in fighting for justice, no matter what culture you were in. Whether you live in basically the ghetto part of it, or the people that are college graduates and having degrees or having careers. We're all together with this, right? But all of a sudden, when it comes to a one issue like this, all of a sudden, well, I'm not like them. And it's like people. I'm gonna say this. People call them Uncle Toms. People call them coons. Because, in other words, well, you're not like us because guess what? You're a college graduate, you're college educated, and all the uppity. And then we have our home training. And I think some of us, we've been raised a certain way, and we know how we act when it comes to other establishments, or we're going to cruises, or we're going to do some things that most people couldn't do or couldn't afford to do. We're doing it, right? And for myself, I just got off a cruise, MSC World America. Shouts out to them on my birthday cruise. They were lit, and they're starting. They're playing a lot of most. I'm just saying how it is on the MSC World America, right? They got people from all walks of life, all around the world, right? You got people from Europe. They go on the same cruise ship. It speaks, German, speaks Spanish, speaks Italian. You got these people, on that cruise ship. You hardly see Americans on that cruise ship. But when I was on there, on my birthday, they were really nice, well respected. we even partying together, right? We had a white party. We all were one. We all were family, right? Doesn't matter what language you speak or what culture you're coming from. We were all together on that one big cruise ship, the MSC World America. So the problem is that it took one situation and it divided the black community like that through class. And because you got people who having six-figure income, who has careers, who has jobs, they're looking down on the people that don't have that, don't, that couldn't afford it, couldn't experience it. And Rickey Smiley did say, which I agree of, that just because you're from the community doesn't mean you have to act like a community. And I agree with that. However, just because they're from that community, you can't talk down from the guy because you're that from community either. And what can we say in the community, right? Ever since the incident on Carnival that we were starting brawls and fights, everybody is looking at us. And that's why Carnival is making new rules and new changes. But they haven't looked at white people fighting on cruises because they're not fitting the narrative. And drink packages are the problem. And so the thing of it is that when you have Carnival and cruise ships like that who limited drink packages, that can ease up the tensions. But when you target one group of people, one group of community, then they're going to feel like, well, wait a minute. Yes, we having problems. We had to hold our own people accountable for brawls and fights and whatever. But don't act like we're the only group that started this fight, started this melee. There's white people who does the same thing. And I even posted it on my channel, on my video showing examples of it. That white people starting fights too. But we laughing at it that, because, they're ratcheting. And the thing of it is, the reality is that they're only targeting us because that's what sells newspapers. That's what making people watch it, viewers watching it. Even on social media, with TikTok, that's what make the views go up. That's what make even on X. That's what make views go up. That's what make likes and clicks and stuff. When we got involved in this. But noticing when we weren't involved in none of this, you see white people fighting, why haven't they posted that up? Why haven't they posted on, well, look at that culture? Because guess what? They don't fit the narrative. So when you have, then now all of a sudden when we got in brawls and fights, everybody, all walks of life is talking about it, even in social media. Now Rickey Smiley is talking about it. Coming soon, you got, unless they already talk about it, D.L. Hughley and Steve Harvey. We talk about the Kamala Harris drama, and then now all of a sudden, this situation happened. And it divided the black community. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It dividing us as a people. We look it down on each other because of our class, because our status. And that right there, that needs to be stopped too. Because at the end of the day, if a police officer is stopping you for no apparent reason, they don't look at you because you're a congressperson, or they don't look at you because you're from the hood, or they ain't gonna look at you because you are a lawyer or an attorney, and possibly that you are a senator or a vice president of any major company. They're not looking at that. You know what they're looking at? They're looking at this. They're looking at the color of your skin. They're going to stop you for no apparent reason because of the color of your skin at the end of the day. So all I'm saying is that we need to do better when it comes to each other, despite where we're coming from. And not pointing fingers and say, well, I'm not like that because this. Because a lot of black people in the ghetto will say, well, you're Uncle Tom. You're a coon. That's what they're going to look at y'all at. And then it's going to divide it even more. So, guys, we need to do better with this. Let's come together with this and say, let's just build ourselves up and not point the finger at each other, because at the end of the day, if you do that, Everybody else gonna look at it and say, "See, this is what these black people talking about," and it's gonna divide us. I mean, instead of unite us even more. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.